Hi, Bhupen. And again, we are going to edit most of this.
Okay.
My questions won't be there. It will be just
Great.
showing in the text.
And I'm going to face you when I'm answering, or you want me to face the...
You can face this
Okay.
camera, please. What was the problem you are having or the objective you had before you started using our products and services?
Yeah, I was looking for a more professional solution to tracking primarily just our front desk and our housekeeping hours. Sometimes it becomes a challenge to ensure that all of our record keeping is maintained well and that we're prepared in case of any kind of audits or any types of problems. So I was just looking for a more convenient and professional system.
Did you have any preconceived notions about using biometric time and attendance solutions and cloud technologies?
No, absolutely. And actually, I think just the name in itself gave me apprehension in that it sounded like it was going to be a very expensive and overly sophisticated process and product that we as a small business owner didn't really need. And so it wasn't really anything that I thought would fit for us.
Did you have any other objections or hesitations before you decided to buy our products, and how did you overcome those hesitations? Like some of them you mentioned that it might be overly complicated and not designed for small businesses. How were you able to overcome some of those hesitations that you had?
Sure. I think in discussions with you and in reviewing the product further, it came to realize, or I came to realize, that it really wasn't a very complex and difficult to use process. Costs were surprisingly affordable. I really thought that the machine itself would be outside of our budget, but the package and fee structure that you guys have in place was much more reasonable than I thought it was going to be.
How many locations and employees are using our solutions? If you can name a few of your locations, please.
Sure. So you've helped us roll it out at 5 of our locations, and so we've set it up at 2 of our Holiday Inn Express properties. We've set it up at our Hampton Inn property. We've actually even set it up at a Days Inn property, and then recently we just rolled it out at our Courtyard by Marriott property. And so in total, we probably have maybe 80, 90 employees that are on it at this point.
How effective is our product and service in terms of solving this problem for you?
Yeah, so far it's been great. I think you guys understand what small businesses are looking for, and you've been responsive. Most of us don't have a lot of extra time and have the ability to spend a lot of time on something that we've always kind of maintained very simply, either by paper or by punch card. And so it's been a nice process, and I think your service has been very responsive, and you've worked very well with our managers, and so that's made my life a lot easier.
And do you, and this may be a off the chart question, have you seen any tangible benefits as of yet in terms of either saving time for your managers, in terms of calculating payroll, managers being able to access it on their smartphones real time, who's working, who's not, and in terms of any clerical errors that can be avoided, overall the payroll time, do you believe or do you think that there might be some savings out there using our solutions?
I expect there will be. We haven't been on the system that long, so we haven't necessarily they haven't necessarily materialized yet. But I do think that avoiding errors, making sure that the managers aren't spending more time than necessary on payroll processing, in particular calculating the hours. If you're doing it manually, it can be very, very time consuming. And so allowing them to focus their attention on other revenue generating tasks or customer service tasks is really what we're trying to accomplish here. By the way, I think I'm going to just look at you because I think it's going to look awkward if I look up and down, up and down.
Okay.
So I think I'm just going to look at you,
Sure.
and if you stay close to the camera, that'll be good, but that way it just seems more natural.
Okay, sure. how do you think our products can help businesses in your industry or your industry as such?
Sure. I think the hotel industry, and especially the small owner-operator segment of our industry, I think has always relied on traditional ways of doing things, and I'm definitely that way as well. I've always just, if it works, why change it? And so historically, we've always either maintained records by hand, having employees sign in, or managers check, or by time clock, and we'll just have the simple systems with punch cards. The problems with those is that they take a lot of time to process thereafter, and as employees don't necessarily follow instructions perfectly, or numbers don't necessarily fall in the right boxes, it becomes more and more challenging, and you're more and more prone to make errors. And so I do think that there are a lot of owners like myself that are looking for something that's cost effective and is useful and practical in our industry. And so I'm hopeful this is going to work very well for many others as well.
In hospital industry.
Within our hotel industry,
yes.
right.
What specific features did you like most about this product? If you can name a few of the features.
Sure. So initially I was just looking for something to keep track of our time and to calculate the hours for us, and so that part's been working fine. But I was actually pleasantly surprised that there were a couple other features. A, that you guys have interfaces in place with most of the payroll processors, so that can then be transmitted to them directly, which makes life simpler than doing faxes and trying to log on to additional websites. So that was very useful. Secondly, you guys also have additional systems, and we haven't necessarily fully utilized them yet, but there are additional features for scheduling. For example, we do our scheduling on old-fashioned Excel spreadsheets, and so rather than that, it sounds like we can utilize this software package and kind of have everything in one place. We can print them out, we can still post them as necessary, we can circulate them amongst staff members, but it's nice that you have all of that in place, and that can then be used to kind of reconcile and to budget if we need that. And then the third thing that I think is going to be very helpful to us is just record keeping, having one place to kind of consolidate all of our employee files and employee records. And so our hiring packets, our I-9s, our employee performance reviews, things like that, being able to scan those into one place and maintaining those files and records, I think is going to be very helpful to us.
What do you find most beneficial about our products?
I think it's the features that I just described, and having it very small business oriented in the way you've designed it. It's not something that, like some of even our front desk systems are made for 500 room hotels, and there are all kinds of features and reports that we just ignore or have to skip over. This is really pretty well focused for businesses of our size, and so I've appreciated that.
And what do you find the most beneficial about working with our company?
Yeah, you guys come from a similar owner-operator, small business background as we do, and so you've been very responsive. You've been easy to work with. You answer the phone, you respond to our emails, and you work directly with our managers, which I really, really like. That goes a long way for us. You don't have to call me every time you have a question or to show off the fact that you solved something that the manager needed. You guys have just been able to take care of it, and if I don't hear complaints from the managers, that means you're doing something right. And so far, they've been pleased with the work you've done.
Great. Would you recommend us to other businesses? Would you recommend us?
Yeah, I would, and I don't do that often. I'm not much of a spokesperson or a salesman for products, but I do think you guys have done a good job, and I think you guys can help us fill a nice niche in the hotel industry, especially amongst the owner-operator community. And so I would recommend you, and hope that you guys will continue to provide the good service you have to us and to all your clients so far.
Any key call-outs in terms of why would you like to recommend us?
Yeah, I think it's the product. Again, the simplicity of it. You've made it very cost-effective, which was a big surprise to us. and then you followed through. The service you provided is what you indicated you would. You got our properties up. We've had some deadlines as well, and we met those deadlines, and so that's been appreciated.
Great.
Great.
Thank you very
you.
much. Thank you.